Hi, why aren't you getting hired? You think you're the best thing since sliced bread, but you're just not getting hired. Here are a couple of reasons, perhaps why. First thing, maybe there's more sizzle than steak. There's a disconnect between who you are and the resume that's in front of the recruiting manager. If you've embellished the truth a little bit too much and you get to the customer and you are not at all the person on the piece of paper, maybe you're overselling yourself. So be careful of that. You need to promote yourself, but not to oversell yourself. Number two, it's never your fault. There are candidates in interviews that always have great excuses for why they didn't make their numbers, why they were fired, why they didn't do well, why their boss was crazy, but it's never their fault. Be careful of being that, having that victim complex. Number three, you don't take your job search seriously. If you're unemployed, a job search should be a full-time job. That means getting up early in the morning, getting dressed for the park, being ready. Many people take it as a more part-time rather than a full-time job. You've got to be prepared for anything. That means when you answer the phone, it could be a potential employer on the phone. Don't answer the phone if you're half asleep. That doesn't look good if at 10 o'clock in the morning you're still asleep. Number four, you're arrogant and pushy. Now, this is very difficult to figure out. If you have a good friend or an employer that is going to give you some good feedback, you need to, if you are like that, get that kind of feedback from someone. Because often if you're arrogant and pushy, you don't know you're arrogant and pushy. And that comes across in an interview, and most people are turned off by that. And that is not the same as being a type A personality, a go-getter. That's not the same thing. You cannot articulate your successes and your accomplishments. It is not an easy thing to do, but you need to practice and give concrete examples of, if you say, I'm an organized person, give me an example of why you're organized. I'm a great manager. Give me an example of what a great manager is. Be able to articulate that. Don't just make claims in the air like that. You jump around too often. Employers don't like people that jump around too often because you're too much of a risk. What says that you will stay in their job when they hire you? You target the wrong jobs. So maybe you want to be a manager, but you have never had the experience, or you've never shown that you're able, you could be good at it. Maybe lower your expectations for certain kinds of jobs until you get into a little bit more experience and really put some meat into that resume. You lie. Many hiring managers have a very good lie detector. So lying in interviews on your resume, sooner or later you get found out. So I just say drop it, because a good liar has to have a great memory. And if you don't have a great memory, don't bother lying. Maybe there's a lack of enthusiasm when you go to interviews. I understand that some people are very quiet and shy and reserved, but if you're in an interview, you have to show interest in the job. Overall, hopefully these things help you. And most of all, get someone, a trusted advisor or a mentor who's going to help you identify some of the things that may be going wrong in your interview search. I'm Dawn Williams from Sirius Personnel. I can be reached on LinkedIn and on Twitter. Happy selling.